and she takes up with the gamekeeper in the garden an affair. She has an affair with the gamekeeper in the garden. It's very shocking for England. That's about class, different classes, you know, upper class, hobnobbing with lower class, and this is his life. He's both the gamekeeper and the crippled man in the wheelchair. He's both people, because later on he's the man in the, basically in the wheelchair being cuckolded by someone else as well. They used to use that word cuckolded, if you don't know. It means when someone else is having something to do with your wife. So that's a famous novel, but of course it's famous for its sex scenes because it gets into the mind of the woman, Lady Chatterley, and describes her sexual feelings. If I could be crude, will you allow me? During orgasm, okay? Sorry. And delete that word, you know, put a bleep there. In any case, that was, for that period, that was like crazy. That was 1920s, and you know, that was just not done. Not heard of. I guess for you guys today, it's pretty innocent stuff, huh? It was not done. So these are real historical breakthroughs. So that's what he's really known for. It's not his best novel. What we have here, what I want to read with you, certainly next time, if not this time a bit, if I can get into it at all. This, there's many different versions of this book. I don't know who's got what, but I have this one. There's a new one out. I don't know if you have the sketches or that one, J.S. Lawrence in Italy. You see, they had one out just Etruscan places, but for some reason they canceled it. And this was a really good edition. They had it out until the last term, and it's got pictures and everything in it of the tombs that he visits. So, in fact, they've gone back to just this old collection here, and I apologize for not having a, you know, publishers changed the volume again for some reason. Maybe they lost the license to it. I don't know what happened. In any event, this was the one we used last term, and now we don't have it anymore. We just have D.H. Lawrence in Italy, which is just a collection of part of several other essays. It's still in there. But the book I had, it was a single volume. Now they've collapsed it down, and it's not as impressive. All the essays in that book are good, by the way. One, Sea in Sardinia, is about his life when he was living in Sicily before he went to America. And I forget what the other one is in that. What's the other one in that collection? Sea in Sardinia and...
Twilight in England.
Yeah, I don't remember what that one's called. To me, his prose is better than his novels. His novels to me are actually corny in the end. I find most novels to be cheesy and corny in the end. And so his prose is really good. And this Etruscan places, you say, well, why would Etruscan places be interesting? He penetrates the mind of early religious, primitive religious mind in a way that no one else that I've ever read was able to do. He obviously felt a kinship with it. And in doing so he gets into the whole thing of his attitude towards sexuality and ecology and all the things that have since become so important to many of us in the spiritual religious field. So I think he's a forerunner in this, and this is one of the best expressions of it. So I like to read things that are worth something. And this is really worth something when you read it. And you learn something as well. I'm just going to go to the first couple of paragraphs and I'll let you go. The Etruscans. He wrote this when he went back to Italy. At the time, he just knocked this off in 1926, about 5 years before he died. As everyone knows, were the people who occupied the middle of Italy in early Roman days, and whom the Romans, in their usual neighborly fashion, wiped out entirely in order to make room for Rome with a very big R. That is a great first sentence. I don't know if you know about writing or know how to write or can grasp writing. And he says it all in that sentence, you know, and says it so well, but with a sense of humor. They couldn't have wiped them all out. There were too many of them for that. But they did wipe out the Etruscan existence as a nation, as a people. However, this seems to be the inevitable result of expansion with a big, which is the sole raison d'etre of people like the Romans. So just to start on the first sentence there, to go back. Does he like the Romans? No. What's their problem? They're expansionists, they're violent, they're brutal, they wipe people out, and they're not neighborly. To make room for Rome with a very big heart. Is he going to like the Etruscans? Yes. He thinks they're gentle, delicate, fine, refined, absolutely sensitive people. And the Romans are insensitive. I like this because, you know, we, in our history classes, in our movies, we glorify these places like Rome. You know, we have movies like The Gladiator, and we see the soldiers marching down the Forum, and the Roman soldiers marching, and you know, we see the great architectural things that they built, and we're awed and impressed, and our teachers tell us about how the Roman Empire did that, and that, and that, and that, and that. And they never tell us that this Roman Empire was a brutal, monstrous, you know, repressive, horrendous place where, you know, people were, as he will describe it here, treated in the way they were treated, vast dead pits for slaves and every other sort of thing. And, you know, I've studied the Roman situation in Palestine and England and other places. I mean, these people, when they went to work, they wiped people out, like literally wiped people out, just like Lawrence is saying. And he's one of the first people that you come upon who's really willing to say it. And he's not a historian. He's a thinker and a novelist and a spiritual person, so he just says what he thinks. And he doesn't mess around and beat around the bush. So he says it. Then how the Romans, in their usually neighborly fashion, wiped out in order to make room for Rome. He could have stopped there, but he doesn't. Rome with a very big R. It's great writing. See you next time.
Please don't pass it. Don't
He thinks that there's a sacred hoop that symbolizes imagination, that it has to allow the sacred hoop to be healthy. I don't really know what he means by it myself.